Chapter 1. Whisper of the Darkness. The Divine Scar. Sacred, divinity, spiritual, devotions, emotions, knowledge, wisdom, faith, mother of all ancients, God's birth, life, death, place identified before the oldest, seekers, preachers, teachers, and followers. Yes, I'm talking about one of the greatest places on Mother Earth, known as Varanasi, Kashi, and also Banaras. This is one of the oldest inhabited places on Earth, time immemorial. My journey to this religiously marvelous place starts with a calling. Certain places on this land can be visited by all, but can be experienced only when you're invited, blessed, and handheld by the Lord Himself. Lord, who needs no introduction, rather cannot be explained in simple words or sentences. Surya, the sun, Chandra, the moon, Navagraham, the 9 planets, 27 nakshatra, the stars, 12 rashis, the sign, and 5 panchabhutas, the elements. Everything is within the supreme power. No man ever existed, or will ever exist, has understood its beginning or end. All we know is that we are just a small dot in the cosmos. He who creates, protects, and transforms, Lord Shiva. Our life is an embodiment of energy. Every single moment we generate, we drain, we gain, we acquire, and we lose energy to various aspects and dimensions that we encounter in this lifetime. However, if we prepare ourselves in a certain way, it becomes easy to acquire the benefits of the life force. It's like the plants, how they prepare for sunlight to acquire maximum benefits from the energy invigorated. Likewise, I started my journey with zero baggage, no expectations in my mind, bhakti and faith in my heart, fit and healthy body to support me on this journey. It was that time of the year when faith, devotion, and spiritual cleansing happens at scale. Yes, you heard it right. It was the period of Mahakumbh, which happens once in 144 years, and it happens for around 41 days. Anybody who is alive today would not get to witness this again. It's once in a lifetime opportunity which was blessed and showered upon me. I reached Varanasi without expecting that I would be thrown into the ocean of people, where everyone is just moving in only one direction, that is Baba Kashi Vishwanath. They were all moving in a well synchronized manner, like how ants were moving without any conflict. It took for a while for me to understand the world that I was thrown into. So much so that it took 3 hours on foot to cover a distance of a kilometer to reach the place of my accommodation. As the night grew, the multitude of devotees continued to swell. Overcrowd is an understated word. It was like trying to fill a 1-liter pot with 2 liters of continuous flowing water. With the continuous growing of devotees, I was moving directionless, without the insight of what is awaited at the end of long-standing queues and massive amount of people. A sudden spur pulled me towards the direction of the holiest place, where life begins a new chapter. It's a place where bravest will also get a pinch of fear. Fear? It's not fear. It's the realization of how life transforms and manifests in front of you. The living experiences it as the end of the beginning. The dead embodies it as the beginning after the end. Irrespective of how birth and death are seen from different dimensions, it all leads to the path of transformation of oneself. The physical body, which we have acquired, nurtured, used, and abused, will end up transformed into the holy ashes. The physical body is carried deep in the earth via the burnt ashes to reach the lap of Bhumitai, which is Mother Earth. The soul is carried to Father's abode, which is Kailasham, via the smoke from the burning fire. And the mind, which is the congregation of thoughts, which was acquired through this physical body, is submerged in the holy waters of Ma Ganga, so as to reach the feet of Lord Shiva. This symbolizes the end of the life as a wanderer. Yes, you're right. I'm talking about Manikarnika God, the father of all the gods. The god where burning fire continues endlessly, manifesting Lord Shiva's endless Jyoti, the eternal light. This is the only place on earth where the burning of fire continues endlessly. And if you're ready to embody this energy, you will realize that this place is a true example which demonstrates that there is a thin line between birth and death. And this energy is very captivating and magnetic. Mesmerized in the crematory silence, sounds of burning woods on one side, chanting of Lord's name in the distance, which is slowly coming towards my direction, silence of death, and the waves of Holy Ganga touching the shores of Manikarnika, taking away all that it needs to reach the feet of Lord Shiva. With this magnificent atmosphere, I get immersed into performing Rudra Dhyana, a deep meditation. I start doing this on one of the platforms of Manikarnika. For a moment, I felt I was time traveling to a place of complete nishab, which is silence. As my indulgence gets deeper, I see the rhythm of burning fire, holy Ganges touching Manikarnika, and my heart dancing rhythmically for the divine sounds. As I continue with Dhyanam, the Rudra chant continues to grow stronger and louder in my ears. After a few moments, I feel a very strong warmth just standing beside me. And it's the night with cool breeze, so you can resonate what I mean. I open my eyes with a sudden jerk, and to my surprise, I see a holy person standing next to me. He was so holy that you cannot make out the difference between the hair from his head and the face, the beard. It was like a perfect rhombus. Ashes smeared all across his body. The scent of the divine bhasma was so intense that it was tantalizing my noses. And the beautiful kamandalam, the pot with water in the hand, tied to a big stick. This Baba was so divine and magnetic that I could not take off my eyes from him. The first few words that he spilled from his mouth was Om Namo Bhagavate Rudraya, Jai Bhairav. And he asked, do you have a Shivalingam? And my immediate response was, yes Baba, I have, and I worship him at home. Baba brings up a smile on his face and says, please accept this, and put his hand in the kamandalam and brings a fistful of bhasma and hands it over to me and says, keep this with you always. And he stresses, saying, I mean, always. The moment was so intense that I could feel the warmth, and my hand was shaking and shivering, and feeling very heavy with the prasadam, the sacred blessing, in my hand. I bring my fist to my eyes. This is the sign of respect to the prasadam, the sacred blessing, and open my fist. The joy and pleasant feelings had no boundaries. It was so immense that it was like bubbles exiting my skin from all over the body. And to my surprise, I see a golden brown stone in the shape of Lord Shiva, in the form of lingam, without the Jaladhara, which is the base. This was covered with the bhasma all over the stone. It was sparkling with the moon's light in its reflection. The Baba advises to keep it inside, and I gently place this in my bag and hand over the kanike, which is nothing but the donation. And this was offered to the Baba only out of sheer gratitude. He immediately smiles and says, I don't need this. And most importantly, he says, money cannot buy everything in this world, and looks towards the Manikarnika. Wow, what a lesson to learn in just a few moments. That too at Manikarnika, where the last rites are conducted as rituals. For a moment, I was transcended to a very different world of feelings and emotions. It was ecstatic, and I was submerged in his feelings. And I also felt he was in a rush to go. And he asked me, do you want to go inside? Inside? Let me take you a few moments earlier so you understand what this inside means. When I stepped into Manikarnika, I saw a beautifully carved temple on the shores of Ganges. It was a magnificent temple dedicated to Lord Shiva in the form of Rudra Lingam, the fiercest form of Lord Shiva. This temple had two doors, one to enter and one to exit. And since there was a huge rush of people, no one was allowed inside the temple. But everybody can do darshanam of Shiva from outside and move on. And I was sneaking at Lord Shiva from the exit door for a very, very long time. And the magnetic charm of the lingam kept me on my toes to enter the Garbhagriha, sanctum sanctorum, on the first available opportunity. And after multiple failed attempts, I returned to the platforms of Manikarnika, feeling unfulfilled. After this, you know what had happened. Now that when the Baba said, you want to go inside, I said with all excitement, yes Baba, if possible. He quickly grabbed my hand. The hold was so firm and yet gentle, like a touch of a feather, with a warmth of aura. Spontaneously, I was lost in time. I could not figure out what was going on with me. For a few moments, I was frozen. You will be awestruck to know why, because, again, let me take you back in time. I had this strange dream a couple of months ago, where Naina, my dad, in my dreams had taken me to a temple, holding my hand the exact same way and taking me through the inside the temple. Since Dad was in the journey towards Lord Shiva, this dream was a pleasant surprise, because every time we go to temples, I was always on his shoulder or on his safe hands while I was a child. He was always with me, for me, in every single moment I needed him. We were inseparable by any force, and that was the bonding and the attachment we had. While from the dream, I could only make out the temple structure, the inside premises, and the way I was guided into the temple, by Dad in my dreams. And this was the exact playback of what I saw in my dream earlier. That is it. All the heavens broke. I was in tears, sitting just 1 foot away from my Lord. I did not know why I was weeping like a child. Did I tear that my dad was no more with me, the physical body? Did I tear because the Baba took me inside the shrine the exact same way that my dad took me in my dreams? Did I tear because I was in the lap of my Lord Shiva, so close, all by myself? Did I tear because I had a huge responsibility ahead of my life on my shoulders? Or did I tear that I was blessed? I don't know why, but I liked crying for the first time like a child in front of his father. After moments of divine glory, I turned back to realize that the Holy Baba had left, nowhere to be seen again. I tried searching the Baba multiple times in the day for a couple of days, but could not see him again. What a day! This day had completely transformed me into a new perspective. The same eyes started to see the world very differently. This turn of events created a permanent scar in my life. The divine scar. Could not see Kashi Vishwanath in his prime abode, but experienced him as Rudra in Manikarnika. Had an ecstatic feeling of Dad being with me. Had a sacred blessing from the Holy Baba who whispered and disappeared in the thin air of Manikarnika. Cannot ask for more. I felt the holy journey is accomplished when I was just about to begin. I was feeling bliss, content, and fulfilled. I was planning to head back to my accommodation to retire my day. Then suddenly, end of chapter 1, Whisper of the Darkness, the Divine Scar.